Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last we left off on an extremely short episode, and we realized that Miss Dee Vasquez has connections to the mafia and was willing to erase us in order to get that picture. Now, erase could mean many different things, but I think the most obvious is she wanted us to be or something to that effect. I probably shouldn't have done that. Now my voice is going to regret it for the rest of my life. Oh well. Let's get going. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Today will be the final day of this trial. I hope both the prosecution and defense will be able to present decisive evidence. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement. In yesterday's session, the defense presented us with a new theory for this case. He claims that the scene of the crime was in fact Studio 2. Today I will call on people present in that studio trailer that day. From their testimonies, the truth will become clear. Very well. Edgeworth seems a bit on edge today. You may call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls Ms. Dee Vasquez to the stand. She is a producer who was present in the Studio 2 trailer that day. Will the witness please state her name and occupation? Dee Vasquez. I am a producer for Global Studios. Now, on the day of the murder, you were in the trailer in Studio 2. As everyone here knows, yes? I dislike needless banter. If you must pontificate, do it when I'm not here. Very well, Miss Vasquez. Please, give the court your testimony concerning the day of the murder. Nick, I know she did it. Make her pay. Right. If she's guilty, I'll catch her with her pants down. So to speak. I entered the trailer a little before noon. The meeting began at 12 sharp, and it ended at 4. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. We found Hammer's body later when we all went to Studio 1. That's all. I have a question about one part of your testimony. You were fatigued, so you had Sal take you. The van. There's a van at Studio 2. I had him take me in that. I thought it might be risky to walk with that monkey's head toppling over. Good to know. I see. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. This is the final battle, Nick. Let's do it. I entered the trailer a little before noon. By yourself? Yes. And you didn't stop in at the employee area? No. Are you always this terse? Yes. Oh, God. The meeting began at 12 sharp. It ended at 4. Did no one else leave during the meeting? No one. Come on, let's talk a bit more about that. The witness did not come here to engage in idle conversation. Stop interrupting the testimony. The same could be said to you, Mr. Edgeworth. And please, stop banging on your little desk. It hurts my ears. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. She is clearly a woman used to being in control. And when exactly was that? I've forgotten. Well, maybe you could try remembering? No. The meeting ended at 4, and the rehearsal was scheduled for 5. I would think it was between those times. You would think? Come on, all you did was state the obvious, Edgeworth. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. Hold on. You had Sal take you. What does that mean? It means what I just said. I had Sal take me in the Studio 2 van. Right. At 2:30, we took a 15-minute break in the meeting. Aye. And what were you doing during that time? Don't hit your desk. It irritates me. Yeah, Mr. Wright. Oh. It was a 15-minute break. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. Do you have someone who can verify this? Sal. No, I mean someone else. One person is enough. If she committed murder during that break, she wouldn't have had time to eat a T-bone steak. I just only had some evidence to prove she didn't eat it. Well, Nick, did you find anything? I kinda wish she said a little more. I mean, it's hard. I think she's used to being the boss. But I'm sure you'll find some kind of contradiction in what she just said. Somewhere. Well, clearly, yes, if she was committing murder, she had no time to be eating. Much less have the appetite to eat it, unless she's just that kind of person who can eat after murdering someone. No, but it has to be here. Sal and I ate T-bone steaks on the table in front of the trailer. Never mind. I got it. I remember. There were plates on the table, but the plates, they were bare. Of everything. Now how is that possible unless they are superhuman and can eat a goddamn bone? Excuse me. Ha! As I thought. You claim you ate a T-bone steak. But I say you didn't. What's this now, Mr. Wright? Look at this. It's a plate. This plate was on the table in the employee area. As you can see, a large bone has been left behind. Mr. Wright, need I remind you that it was a T-bone steak? Exactly my point. Remember, if you will, Ms. Vasquez and Mr. Manila ate at a table outside the trailer. And yet, there were no bones left on those plates. The plates were bare. Ms. Vasquez? Tell me, how can a person eat a T-bone steak and not leave the bone? I think I know how. You ate the bone too! You are amazing! You are just like my little dog who... Well, he's not little. He's a German Shepherd. Okay, that joke kind of went downhill. Anyway, point is, you didn't eat the steak. You didn't eat any steak during that break. You took your steak and threw it somewhere. Like perhaps that incinerator. I see. Then what was Miss Vasquez doing during her break? Well, isn't it obvious, Your Honor? She was meeting with the Steel Samurai. Order! Are you saying... Yes, Your Honor. As Miss Vasquez left the trailer to eat her steak, she ran into the Steel Samurai. And then you did it. You killed him with your own hands. But, Mr. Wright, isn't that a little presumptuous? What kind of stunt are you trying to pull, Wright? Let him claim what he wants. You say I did it. Yes. Fascinating. And here I was worrying that today would be as boring as all the rest. Very well then. Let us have a battle of wits, you and I. Any day, Miss Vasquez. Good luck, Nick. Let's see. What was that murder weapon again? Oh yes, the samurai spear. Yes? I am, as you can see, a woman of petite stature. How could I possibly use that heavy spear as a weapon? That does become the next issue. A woman of petite stature. Well, if we're thinking of Fire Emblem, we have some petite women that can carry a big, gigantic sword. But we're not putting Fire Emblem logic into this. But in real life scenario, you honestly wouldn't be able to. You clearly aren't that strong. I think you would have a great deal of difficulty using it as a weapon. Pretty much anyone would. Huh. You see. Yes. However, that has no bearing on this case. Meaning? The samurai spear was not the murder weapon. What? What is the meaning of this? The spear was found lying next to the victim's body. I have proof, Your Honor. I can prove that the samurai spear was not used as a murder weapon. Oh, the spear was broken. It was broken during rehearsal. If it was used then, the piece of the spear, if it actually pierced through, would be still stuck in Hammer's body. It's broken. I present my proof. The so-called murder weapon. But that is the murder weapon. Not so fast, Edgeworth. Remember that this spear was broken during the morning action scene run-through. But someone fixed it. It was the security lady. She fixed it with duct tape. Now tell me, how is it possible for someone to stab a man who is wearing a thick costume with this through the chest? Order! Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? Think about what you're... Silence. I'm the one testifying here, and I will be heard. Are you quite sane? Are you even aware of what you're saying? If the samurai spear was not the murder weapon, then pray tell, what was? How was Hammer killed? Well, Mr. Wright, can you tell us what weapon was used to kill Hammer? Well, we don't have a weapon. I don't even know how he died. If it's not the spear... Oh my... Oh... Maybe? But if so, then oh my god, we can go... Oh, I think I got it. Of course I can't. Of course? Candy antics, right. I have to agree, Mr. Wright. At least pretend that you think you might know. Note to self, think before speaking. Tough crowd. Well, Mr. Wright, can you tell us what... apparently yes. Apparently yes. Sorry, it was a slip of the tongue. Would I make a claim like that if I couldn't tell you what the weapon was? Why am I doing an Edgeworth voice? I'm afraid your confidence can sometimes be unfounded, Mr. Wright. Very well. Let's see this murder weapon then. I think karma came back to bite Mr. Hammer. I think it did. Look at this photo. What is this? What? That's Jack Hammer standing on top of the stairs. Order! Order! If I cannot have order, this trial will be suspended. Mr. Wright, what is this all about? This photograph is from 5 years ago. There was an unfortunate accident at Global Studios. This is a photo of that very accident. Not a word of this was leaked to the outside. It was a close-kept secret at the studios. Now, what does this have to do with the current case? Mr. Edgeworth, you still can't see it? See the fallen man in this photo? See how the fence post pierced him through the chest? What? Are you saying? Yes. What happened 5 years ago has happened again. Karma came back to bite him. Mr. Wright, continue. It's 2:30 on the day of the murder. Miss Dee Vasquez meets Jack Hammer outside the Studio 2 trailer. Then she did it. She pushed Mr. Hammer off the stairs onto the fence. Just like Mr. Hammer himself had done 5 years ago. Though whether she did it on purpose or by accident, I can't say. In other words, the victim, Mr. Hammer, he died in the same way that he caused another man to die. 5 years ago. Precisely. Ironic, isn't it? Oh, very creative, Mr. Wright. I could use a man like you on my script writing staff. You deny that what I say is true? Mr. Wright, let's say, for the sake of argument, that Hammer died at the trailer as you say. Yet the body was found at Studio 1, was it not? And in the evil magistrate's costume, no less. Are you then claiming that I carried the body to Studio 1 and returned to the trailer all in the space of a 15-minute break? How could I have disposed of the body? The break in the meeting at the trailer lasted 15 minutes, from 2:30 to 2:45. Could Jack Hammer have been pushed off the stairs to his death, then carried to Studio 1 and placed inside his costume? There wasn't enough time. Indeed. Well, Mr. Wright, how could she have dealt with the body? Well, she's a resourceful woman. And I think she had a way to hide it. What if she had another way to carry the body, other than with her own hands? For instance... Actually, for that matter, there was no need for her to do the deed in 15 minutes. And there was a way for you to carry that body. Interesting. Let's hear it then. Mr. Wright, please show us how she carried the body. Easy. And it's a good place to hide the body as well until 4. Miss Vasquez, you carried the body to Studio 1. And you used the studio van to do it. Recall your testimony. There was to be a rehearsal afterwards, so we went to Studio 1. I was fatigued, so I had Sal take me. There was a van there, right? I had Sal drive me. You used the van to carry the body to Studio 1. Then, before everyone else got there, you put the body into the magistrate costume. Hold on, Wright. Don't forget it was Sal Manila who drove that van. Are you suggesting that Mr. Manila was a conspirator? Of course he was. Of course Sal Manila has to have been a conspirator. The body had to be placed in the van and put into the costume. There's no way Miss Vasquez could have done that alone. Also, don't forget that they had to dispose of the Steel Samurai costume. They had to, because it was covered in Mr. Hammer's blood. They probably burned it in that small incinerator. Well, Miss Vasquez, shall I continue? No need. You're smarter than you look, Mr. Wright. I lose. You win. It was fun. I win? So what happens next? Don't look at me like that! Don't you have anything to say? What would you like me to say? Huh? I lost something like that? I just said that. Wait, so you mean... Dee Vasquez, so it was you. You killed Jack Hammer. Who can say? Huh? Are you sure that I did it? Mr. Wright, we just engaged in a battle of wits, and the result of that battle? You proved the possibility that I murdered Hammer. Right. But that is only a possibility. Proof is another thing altogether. You lack decisive proof, Mr. Wright. What? Order! Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts. Of course, it's as the witness says. Certainly, it does seem very likely she did it, but there's no proof. Edgeworth isn't sure. Well, I came here as a witness today. If you've no more questions, I'll be leaving. What do I do now? Testify again! We have no more evidence, but we need to testify. Testify again! I'd like you to testify again. Testify? Again? Know when to quit, Mr. Wright. Think about it. Even if I were to testify again, what's the point? I can only say what I said before. The truth. I've already said all there is to say. Now, what would happen if I said it again? You'd ask the same questions and get the same answers. A waste of time. Damn. Damn it! To come so far, only to fail. It seems there are no further questions. I would like to end the cross-examination of the witness, Miss Vasquez. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I was hoping to come with a question while I was objecting, Your Honor. I didn't. I see. Well, very well then. Your Honor, I request that the witness testify again. You are the prosecutor, are you not? Why are you badgering me? I'm your witness. I just want to hear your testimony again. Does this make any sense to you, Your Honor? I don't see what we have to gain by repeating the last several minutes. Mr. Edgeworth, I too see little point in making Miss Vasquez repeat herself. Now, what exactly did you want her to testify about? Well, yes, indeed. Verily, I say, ergo. I want to hear about what happened after they found the body. After they found the body? Very well. The witness will testify to the court concerning this matter. Huh. Nick, why did Edgeworth... Who knows? He probably realized that she did it too. But, wasn't he the one that said he always gets a guilty verdict? I mean, after all that, Edgeworth. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. The assistant was there too, only Powers was absent. I immediately called the police, then Powers showed up. The security lady Oldbag was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. I then went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. Then I went home. I see no issues raised by this testimony. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay, Nick, we're close. Real close. She may be acting tough now, but if you put her on the spot, she's sure to falter. Find the key you need and twist the truth out of her, Nick. Right. I was with Sal and Oldbag, the security lady, when we found the body. What time was that? We were to meet at 5 for the rehearsal, so I'd say it was then. When exactly did you and Mr. Manila arrive at the studio? About 10 minutes before. I wasn't stuffing any bodies into costumes, mind you. Where were the other employees when you got to the studio? They weren't there yet. Well, then you could have put Hammer into that costume with Salmonella's help. Oh? What did I just say? Did I not just say I wasn't stuffing any bodies into any costumes? You try to listen to what people are saying, boy. Boy? The witness will continue her testimony. The assistant was there too. Only Powers was absent. Mr. Powers was taking a nap, correct? So he says. Did no one go to call him? Remember. Remember what? There was a dead body lying in front of us, yet you expect me to be calm. You certainly seemed calm enough when I accused you of murder. Wait a second. Wouldn't that be the other way around? The other way around? You discovered a murdered body and one person was missing, right? Wouldn't you normally go looking for the missing person? I do have to agree with the defense on this. Well, Miss Vasquez? Logically speaking, perhaps. But no one there was thinking very logically, I assure you. Also, without his steel samurai costume, Powers doesn't exactly stand out. We often left him on the bus when shooting at location. No one noticed he was missing. Oh god, poor Powers. Well, I suppose that explains that. Very well, Miss Vasquez. You may continue. I immediately called the police. Then Powers showed up. Ooh. No. What was everyone else doing at that time? No one said a thing. It was silent. Completely silent. So we stood there until Powers finally arrived on the scene. Sorry I'm late. Then, silence. Dead silence. Silence. Hey, Nick, why has everyone gone quiet? Someone should do something to lighten things up. Deadly silent, considering there's a dead body in front of you. Deadly silent. It's kind of ironic. The security lady, Oldbag, was quite agitated, pointing at Powers, saying he did it. Oldbag, the security lady. Why did the security lady think Powers had done it? She said because she saw him going toward the studio. Oh, right, the Steel Samurai. Did the detective arrest Mr. Power based solely on the security lady's word? Perhaps not. She seems to have also given the detective that photograph. Of course, I heard all about this after the fact. That photograph, meaning the one taken by the security camera. She's not known for exhibiting the best sense of judgment when it comes to Hammer. I don't think there's anything in there I can use. I asked to be left out of the proceedings. You asked to be left out? Yes. It seems that everyone else was questioned, and I'm really not fond of that sort of thing. But you can't just decide who the police will and won't question. Thankfully, the studio thinks otherwise. They were nice enough to understand that since we were in a meeting, there was no way we could have been involved. Thus, they covered for us. Covered for you, or covered it up for you? There must have been a lot riding on it with all those bigwigs at the meeting. I'm sure her professionals helped convince everyone they didn't require questioning. I then went back to the trailer to get my script and direction notes. The script and your direction notes? Yes, they're quite valuable. It wouldn't do to have them stolen. No, I guess not. Oh, wait a second. I thought you came to Studio 1 for a rehearsal. Why didn't you bring your script and notes? Well, I was under the impression that we wouldn't be able to rehearse anything. Why? There was a murder after all. Who could think of rehearsing after that? Yeah, I guess. No. Mouse? 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 1 second, my mouse is being stupid. Give me a moment. Okay, let me see. Okay, good. Very well, Ms. Vasquez. Please continue. Your Honor, I have an objection to the witness's last statement. Huh? Think. Ms. Vasquez said she didn't bring the script because there wouldn't be a rehearsal. Don't you see what that means? She would have had to know about the murder before going to Studio 1. Order! Mr. Edgeworth, what you have just said is a reasonable observation. However, I find it hard to understand why the prosecution would make such a move. Or are you thinking of a career change to defense? I appreciate the concern, Your Honor. I will stand by my statement, however, regardless of how the court sees my role. Now, Ms. Vasquez, do you have an explanation? I can't believe it. Edward is actually helping me. Huh. So the prosecution is in cahoots with the defense. What kind of court is this? No matter. I think you misunderstood me. I had a perfectly good reason to believe there would be no rehearsal. Very well. The witness will change her testimony to reflect his reason. I knew that Hammer was injured and couldn't do any action scenes, so I left them behind. And how did you know about the injury? How did I know? Sal, he told me. Sal the director? Huh. You have to find something to peg this on her here, or everything we've done till now will have been wasted. I believe in you, Nick. Go get him. I already know where the problem is. I just need to figure out how to present it. It's here. Remember, who was injured during the action scene run-through? Hammer or Powers? I think you probably already know. Then the question is, what do I present? Well, actually, in the scope of things, I don't think it's any indication. I mean, clearly she thinks that Hammer was injured. Why would she think Hammer was injured when it was really Powers? There's only one way to defend that. He saw Hammer dragging his leg. You knew that Hammer was injured. Don't you think that's a little funny? I mean, it was the Steel Samurai who was injured. It was Will Powers. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Yes, Mr. Hammer is dragging his leg in this photo. However, that's because he was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Pretending? One person was injured in the run-through that morning. That person was Mr. Powers, not Mr. Hammer. Now, why did you think it was Mr. Hammer who was injured? I already said it was Sal who told me. That's right. He must have gotten it wrong. I think not. Remember, Mr. Manila was at the run-through that morning. He would have known it was Mr. Powers who was injured. He saw it happen. Now why would he tell you the wrong person? Ms. Vasquez. You saw Hammer limping. Actually, you didn't hear anything from Mr. Manila. You saw Mr. Hammer limping with your own eyes. Yes, but wasn't it Mr. Powers who was injured? Yes, but remember, Mr. Hammer was dragging his leg too. He was pretending to be Mr. Powers. Ah! And when was he doing this? Well, it would have to have been after he put on the Steel Samurai costume, and went to Studio 2 where he was murdered. Exactly. Now, Ms. Vasquez, You met him, didn't you? You saw the Steel Samurai limping. And Mr. Hammer was in that Steel Samurai suit. That's why you were confused. That's why you thought it was Mr. Hammer who had been injured that morning. Ugh. Order! Order! I will have order. Witness. Can you refute this claim? Yeah, let's see you sneak out of this one, Vasquez. Very well. I have a question for you. Oh, why are the real killers always so persistent? Why in the world would I want Mr. Hammer dead? Yes, he'd fallen on hard times, but he was a star. I had nothing to gain from his death. Nothing. Yes, you would need a motive. Why would she have killed the victim? If there is a reason, it is unclear to this court. Does the defense have anything to say? In other words, can you prove she had a motive? And that's where the crux of our argument is. People don't usually murder other people on a whim unless they're completely insane. It is clear she is not insane. So, what motive would she have to kill Mr. Hammer? He makes her money by producing shows, even though he's working peanuts. Ay. And in the scope of things, let's think of it this way: Miss Vasquez is blackmailing Mr. Hammer. Why would she want to kill him when she's the one with power over him? And I really doubt Mr. Hammer has any power over her. I really doubt it. Otherwise, he would have used it to not be working peanuts. Oh, shoot. I don't think Miss Vasquez has a motive. In fact, the cards are stacked in her favor. She has no reason to kill him. Then the question becomes, how the heck did Mr. Hammer end up dead? If she has no reason to kill him, why is he dead? I don't know, but one question at a time. I can't prove that she had a motive because she doesn't have one. Nick, no! Saying you can't prove it now would be admitting defeat. She'll get away. But what proof could I possibly have? I don't care if it's impossible, you still have to fight this one. Okay, I have proof, and I'll show it to you. I present to the court evidence as to Miss Vasquez's motive in this murder. But she doesn't have a motive. She's the one who has everything stacked in her favor. I'm serious. What motive could she possibly have? No, I swear, she has no motive. Everything is stacked in her favor. It doesn't work that way. Okay, I have to do a Phoenix Wright thing here, like what Mia said. Don't bother proving if she had a motive. Go with the idea that she did not have a motive. In that respect, why is Hammer still dead? So why is Hammer still dead? I mean, I think we're all in consensus he died on the garden fence post. And Miss Vasquez pushed him. I mean, there's no way Hammer just fell onto it on his own volition. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I just thought of something. Mr. Hammer went through all this trouble to get a Steel Samurai costume and to put it on, to fool the camera. That clearly means he did not want anyone knowing he went to Studio 2. So now then the question is, why would he want to hide the fact he went to Studio 2? He went to Studio 2 to meet with Miss Vasquez. I think I got it. Only people with ill intentions will want to hide from a camera. I think Mr. Hammer was going to do more than just meet with Miss Vasquez. I think Mr. Hammer was thinking of doing something else. And if I am right, then it isn't Miss Vasquez who has a motive. It's actually Mr. Hammer. And if Mr. Hammer is the one with the motive, then I know exactly what to present. This picture. If I'm right, then this is Jack Hammer's motive. This is my proof. This is the photo from before. This photo reveals the motive in this murder. I'm right, aren't I, Miss Vasquez? 5 years ago, Mr. Hammer was at the height of his fame. With Dee Vasquez's help, a terrible accident was swept under the carpet. Ladies and gentlemen, the case currently up for trial, it began on that day 5 years ago. Ironically enough, that accident precipitated Mr. Hammer's fall. His fall from stardom. His guilt weighed him down, no doubt. However, you, Dee Vasquez, used Mr. Hammer. You made him work for you for petty change. Bringing us to the present day, and Mr. Hammer's last role as the evil magistrate. Yes, undoubtedly it was a constant source of shame for the ex-star. One moment, Mr. Wright. We are talking about motives here, and yet you have only talked about Mr. Hammer. It almost seems as if it was Mr. Hammer who killed Miss Dee Vasquez, not the other way around. What motive would Miss Vasquez have? Yes, that's right. According to what you say, I would have had no reason to kill Hammer. He was a good source of income for me, and I never get rid of useful men. It's a policy of mine. I think my idea is right. Mr. Wright, please explain Miss Vasquez's motive for murder. She doesn't have one. Everything we said thus far is in reverse. We're talking about Mr. Hammer, yes, because he's the one with a grudge against her. He's the one who has a reason to kill her. He's the one who wanted her dead and actually hid his identity from the camera. She had no motive, Your Honor. What's that now? It was Mr. Hammer who was out for blood. All Ms. Vasquez did was push him off the stairs, in self-defense. What's that now? It's simple. Mr. Hammer was intending to kill Ms. Vasquez. What? What? Your Honor. Jack Hammer drugged Mr. Powers with sleeping pills. Jack Hammer snuck into the dressing room and stole the steel samurai costume. Jack Hammer wore that costume to fool the security lady into thinking he was Powers. Then, Jack Hammer made his way into the trailer. And for what purpose, you ask? To kill Dee Vasquez, who had so cruelly taken advantage of him all these years. Self-defense. So, you did do it, didn't you? Yes. I am guilty. It was me. Someone, call an ambulance! There's blood everywhere. Oh God, we're too late. Ms. Vasquez! What happened here? Manuel fell from the trailer stairs. Manuel! Ms. Vasquez, please, try to remain calm. No! How could this... It was an accident. Mr. Hammer was doing an action scene and... No! Manuel! Don't touch him! Ms. Vasquez! Please, don't die! Please! Congratulations, Mr. Wright. I lose. Again. Mr. Edgeworth, where's Dee Vasquez? In the waiting lobby, Your Honor, as calm and collected as ever. I see. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? It appears you have brought about yet another miracle. Thank you, Your Honor. I think not, Your Honor. Will Powers was innocent. That he should be found that he should be found so is only natural, not a miracle. Yes, you're right. Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, not guilty. That is all. This court is adjourned. And we are done with this episode. This is actually shorter than I thought it would be. 46 minutes. That's on par with the very first episode I did. Wow. Huh. That's a short trial. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. I'm just glad you're okay. Yes, but it's sad. I know now that Mr. Hammer stole my costume. It's bad enough that he wanted to kill Ms. Vasquez, but to think that he tried to frame me for the murder, it makes me sad. Tell me why, Mr. Wright. Huh? Tell me, why did Mr. Hammer want to blame me? I would suppose it's because you're the rising star, and he's not, and he's kind of bitter at you for that? I don't know if I have evidence for it, though. What the hell. Well, this is what I think. Mr. Hammer wanted to put the blame on you because... because you became the star of all the children, of all the fans. And what has he become? Nothing. It's because you were the Steel Samurai. Because I was the Steel Samurai. Mr. Hammer was a big star once, but he was reduced to acting in a kids' show, and as the villain to boot. The kids loved Steel Samurai, and so he hated you. I think I understand. He could have just told me. I would have changed places with him any time. I think you're missing the point. Thank you. I'm just glad it's all over. So am I. So am I. Yeah, I think at that point with Mr. Hammer, it's not as simple as switching places anymore. Yes, it would happen, but he still has Vasquez breathing down his neck. It wouldn't change anything. He'd still be bitter. Congratulations, WP! Oh, thanks to you, I'll be able to don the Steel Samurai outfit once more. I can't wait to get back into that sweaty costume and... Is something wrong? No, of course not. Oh! Nick! Edgeworth! Say something, Wright. I'm not good at small talk. Huh? What? That was too bad, Edgeworth. You don't waste any time gloating, do you? No, I actually really do want to thank you. Vasquez would have gotten away if you hadn't stepped in. Pleased to meet you. I'm Powers. Edgeworth. I'm a big fan of your work, Mr. Powers. Liar. Right. I must say, I hadn't expected to meet you again after all these years. Meet again? However, in retrospect, it would have been better had we not met. Thanks to you, I am saddled with unnecessary feelings. Unnecessary feelings? Yes, unease and uncertainty. Aren't those kind of necessary? They only serve to get in my way. You listen to me, Phoenix Wright. Don't ever show your face in front of me again. That's what I came here to tell you. Mr. Wright? Was that guy your friend? What? Friends? As if. They're rivals. Right, Nick? For now we are. I guess. Huh? Why do I get the feeling I'm missing something here? Come on, Nick, tell me! What's the deal with you and Edgeworth? And so the curtain closed on another trial. caused quite a stir by revealing that accident from 5 years ago. It was the talk of the town. Thankfully, Global Studios rethought its programming change. They went back to making kids shows again. Nick! This is it! The new show starts today! You're going to watch it with me, right? I'll admit I was kinda surprised. I didn't think they'd seriously go through with it. You have to buy trading cards too, okay? We have to trade with Cody and that assistant. Fine, I'll do it. Isn't it great that WP gets to play the lead again? I wonder if they'll show his real face this time. I don't know. I don't think the world is ready for the real Will Powers. And so starts the new saga of the Pink Princess and the end of this episode. Now, next is Turnabout Goodbyes, and my, isn't this a foreboding picture? Look at that. This man is about to squeeze Edward's head like a small pimple. It's like, here, come you small pimple, let me squeeze the life out of you. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, yeah, that was the final day of that trial, and we are done. Goodbye, people. I will see you all on the next episode. Later.